Okay, Namaste yogis, welcome back. We'll begin with Guru Mantra. Inhale deeply for Om. Guru Brahma, Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Vishnu, Guru Devo, Guru Devo, Maheshwara, Maheshwara, Guru Sakshat, Guru Sakshat, Param Brahma, Param Brahma, Tashmai Shri, Tashmai Shri, Gurave Namaha, Gurave Namaha. Together. Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Devo Maheshwara, Guru Sakshat, Param Brahma, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. May all beings everywhere be happy and free. May I offer my life to all beings everywhere. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Peace Peace Peace. Bring your hands into Anjali Mudra, bow your head. Offer your practice today to someone who's inspired you in your spiritual life, human being, animal being, or nature being. Visualize them, dedicate your practice to them. Namaste. Welcome, everybody. So, I'm going to start by reading from this book. It's called Brother Cyrils' book. It's a book by Penoelope Wilcock, who wrote a series of books which are called the Hawk and the Dove series. It's a series of, it's fiction, but it's based on a lot of historical research and also some historical facts. It's based in a monastery in Yorkshire in the 13th and the 14th century. It's essentially about monastic life. It's about living in community. It's about spiritual life and like the predominance of spiritual practice in your daily existence. It's about the relationships between the monks and also the surrounding people who live around the monastery. It's about what the monks do from day to day, how they live, their kind of karma yoga. And this particular book, the monastery is called St. Alcuin. So it's like, it's a fictional monastery, but it could be based on any monastery. There's obviously enormous parallels between what happens in a monastery and what happens in an ashram. And the monastic kind of tradition has always really interested me, just like the ashram tradition really interests me. Places where people go to devote themselves totally to spiritual practice, sadhana, and to God. And this place where we are now was originally a monastery. So it's called Tower Farm now. The name was changed. It was originally called the Bishop's Palace. And before it was a Bishop's Palace, it was a monastic settlement. And then the Bishop's Palace was developed into the Bishop's Palace when Bishop Wilcock became Bishop of Ely in the 15th century, and he was treasurer to Henry VII. And he built a small monastic settlement here, which was a Tudor brick-built palace, a much smaller version of like Hampton Court. And there were about 20 monastic buildings here. At the moment, they're the remains of the buildings, which is a chapel where my mother lives, and the barn where Equicentric is, where you park your cars. That actual barn was the refectory for the monastery. So that was the kitchens and dining hall for the monastery. And you can see by the size of that building, that's where they would gather to eat and to cook. It's substantial. There were a lot of monks living here. And so after the dissolution of the monasteries, nearly all the buildings apart from those two were demolished. There's still the wall for the kitchen garden there where the monks grew their food. There was also a vineyard here. There were a lot of vineyards at that time. The climate was slightly warmer during that period. That's why we have that area in Ely, which is called the Vineyards, you know what I mean? Just off the marketplace, all that slope down to the river there was all vineyards, and that was owned by the cathedral. It was used to make wine. And so there was vineyards here as well. And the pond where we go, some of you know where the pond just on the other side of the field there, that was the still pond for the monks. So that's where that's where they would keep their fish for the table. So there's still these remnants of what was going on here, but most of it after the dissolution of the monasteries was used as like the local juicens, and people just came here and took the buildings down and took them away and built cottages and houses. If you look around, all around the villages around here, you'll see this red brick, like you see on the Palace Green in Ely, which is all imported brick, and also stone, like thatched cottages with stone mullions on the corners of the walls. And all that material came from here. Sometimes I feel like knocking on the door and saying, "Can I have my stone back, please?" But you can't really do that. So it's too far in history. So anyway, so why am I rambling? So this monk, there's a monk, this is one of the last books in the series that's been done. There's actually 10 books in this series, and I really highly recommend them. They're also unputdownable. Once you start reading them, they're really good stories. You get really engaged in the monks' lives. And this is a monk called Cyril. He's a novice, and he's in the monastery, and he decides that he would like to write this book. And the premise of the book is that he's going to go around the monastery. There's about 30 monks in the monastery, and he's going to ask them all the same question, and then he's going to compile their answers, and it will be turned into a book for the other monks and for posterity. And so he asks them these questions. What have you learned so far? What would you like to achieve? What is your life about? And what would you like your last words on earth to be? And so I'm going to read you, he's been around all the monks, and then the last person that he interviews is the abbot. So the abbot of the monastery is the head of the monastery, is like the head swami in an ashram, and he asks these questions of the abbot. It's quite a bit, but I'll read it anyway. This feels like such a luxury. Outside on this late November day, it's cold and starting to rain. And up in the novitiate, they're working on New Testament Greek at present, which is difficult and takes concentration. Normally, he wouldn't be allowed to do anything except his novitiate studies in the morning. But if the abbot asks to see you, that's different. Here he is, by some wondrous miracle, sitting in a chair, right next to a lovely warm fire, being offered a cup of ale and a honey cake by Brother Thomas, invited to talk with his abbot about his book. Did you think when you came here, his abbot asked, that you'd be writing a book? No, says Cyril decisively, it was Brother Ignatius who thought of it, not me. I've never thought of myself as a writer, and I don't now either. It's just sort of happened. The abbot smiles. Yes, I know what you mean. It never crossed my mind that I'd be the abbot either. What life asks of us, places into our hands to do, is unexpected, feels laughably impossible, and yet somehow we recognize it as being our own. It becomes our work. It draws down from our hearts. Somehow we become the work. Brother Cyril looks at him surprised. Yes, he says, yes, that's exactly what it feels like. So Abbot John turns his head and looks into the fire glowing in the hearth. Shall I tell you the answers I had to the questions you asked? What I've learned is to lean on Jesus, to turn to him, to grab hold of a fold in his cloak and hold on tight, so I don't lose him in the crowd. Like a child afraid of losing sight of his mother on the market day, I have been afraid to lose sight of Jesus, to be separated, to let go of him. My whole world would end. Without him, I am nothing. He is there behind my every hope and endeavor. The steady flow of his strength and peace, the light of his countenance. There's no point in my asking what I do without him, because I can't even imagine what could possibly mean in everything I do. And I cannot begin to tell you, brother, how often I am completely out of my depth. I turn to him. I turn to him. I turn to him. And what I've learned to do, that's what I've learned to do. And it never fails. You ask what we want to achieve. The abbot falls silent. Then Brother Cyril looks at him, his hands clasped loosely, his gaze far away, resting on the fire beyond the flames. One thing, I think, I want to not let this community down. As Christ has never failed me, so I want to stand firm, to be here for you, for this family of brothers, for all the people who come to us because they need our help. I want it to be a stream that never runs dry, kindness where that is needed, straight talking sometimes, a listening ear, wise heads working out a way forward together, deciding what to start, what to continue, what to pause, what to stop, faithfulness in prayer, ministry of the word and the Holy Sacrament, and just, I suppose, the gift of my heart, the promise that I will not withhold myself, that we are in this together. I hope, by God's grace, I will never let you down. Brother Cyril fervently hopes he can remember as much as possible of all this. The community will want to read what the abbot has to say. He must get this committed to memory, get it right. What my life is about? I suppose, the abbot says, there's a sense in which my life is about less and less. It's the opposite of accreation and accumulation. It's a daily release, a journey into holy poverty. What John the Baptist said, he must increase and I must decrease. I am named for John the Baptist, you know, not John the Evangelist. I think sometimes of the words of Jesus to my namesake. Blessed is the man who never loses faith in me. Actually, I believe it means, blessed is the man who doesn't trip over me, which always makes me smile. I think of it as Jesus sitting in one of our stalls in the choir and me tripping over his foot as I go by. I'm sure he'd put out his hand to steady me. Well, I do stumble. and he always does reach out to catch me. He smiles, thinking, then he sits up straight and looks at Cyril. That's almost it, isn't it? Oh, except you wanted to know what our last words might be. All I could think of was stupid things like, put the cat out. Have you fastened the door of the hen house? Did you put the butter away in the well? Besides, our patient community will have sat through so many chapter addresses by the time I'm done. I doubt they will ever want to hear another word from me. But there is one thing. In the years I worked in the infirmary, time and again as men came close to the door of death, they told me they could see someone in the room. Sometimes a friend, sometimes an angel. It might be someone from their family, or in some cases the Lord himself. At times, they even tried to get up and go over to greet whoever was there that I couldn't see. It was that vivid for them. The afterlife is a mystery to us, but it seems we do meet again. He stops and says, it's not just in dying though. I've heard how they are there around us when we come into this world too. My mother, a midwife, and my sister, they witnessed the birth of many children. They said it was so. It seems the ones who are tasked with watching over us drop us off safely here. I have an idea they travel alongside us too, if we can develop the sensitivity to recognize it. Then they come to make sure we go safely home. It would be an honor beyond imagining if I could be one of those who comes back to open the way for my brothers, for you, maybe, at the end. So I suppose I might just say, see you later. And that would be true. Life is short, we meet again. Nothing is lost. Everything is gathered in, what Jesus said. Gather up the fragments left over. Some of those fragments are ourselves, or parts of ourselves that get lost. Trust, innocence, hope, whatever. He reconciles it all. That's the work of the cross. He looks at Cyril. But whatever happens at the end, after we all die, let's maybe not get ahead of ourselves. This much I can promise you. While I'm here and you're in this community, I will travel with you. Please come to me whenever you need to. Please trust me if you can. Tell me if you are troubled. Please, I am here for you. That's it. That's it, I think. That's me. Except about the last words part. You know, if I could die in November or February, I'd like that. If I could see the glorious flaming dawn you get at those times of year, just once more, one last look, you know? And now I think that's quite enough about me. What about you? Is there anything you wanted to say? Namaste. Nice. So much I could say and so much I'd like to say, but another time, stand up from the front of your mat. Okay. The word yoga can be translated in different ways. Come into your gentle ujjayi, breathing chest up, chin down, arms back. One translation of the word yoga is intimacy. Another translation of the word yoga is to join. When you translate the word yoga as intimacy, it means to become intimate with your true nature, with your soul, with your spirit, with yourself. When you translate the word yoga as to join what with what? The ultimate expression of yoga is to join the individual soul with the universal soul or God. That's the definition of yoga. Everything else is secondary to that. And when you say that yoga means to join your individual self to God, people can get touchy about that. So you have to define God. What is God? In the piece that I just read, we're discussing God in the form of Jesus. But God can also be in any form that represents consciousness. And in Patanjali's Yoga Sutra, he makes it very clear when he discusses the Ishtadevata. The Ishtadevata is a personal form of the divine. It's not a form of the divine. It means any form of the divine, anything that for you lifts your consciousness and connects you more deeply to your consciousness, to your true self, to your soul. That is God, because that is God for you. And that is different for every person. So that is one of the things about yoga that makes it so accessible to every being. You, through the practice of yoga, the only real purpose of yoga, whatever else you might do and whatever else you might think yoga is about, the purpose of yoga is connect you to your own consciousness. And that is another way of saying it connects you to your happiness. It connects you to the deepest part of yourself, which is true, and where you feel at home, and where you feel comfortable, and where you feel sustained, and where you feel well, and where you feel creative, and where you feel you can connect to others, because you feel so grounded and safe in yourself. That is the purpose of yoga, to give you that state. Inhale deeply. Exhale. Inhale, arms widen overhead, flip your palms. And exhale down. The breath is your prayer. Inhale, widen overhead. Lift gently. Keep your gaze in your heart. Exhale slowly down. And inhale, raise the arms, interlock your fingers. Lift up and pause. You're going to feel a little bit of length in the lower abdomen, a little bit of lightness in the pelvic floor. And then try to keep that feeling as you exhale and lower the arms. And inhale, raise the arms. Parsvabhangi, side stretch. As you lean to the right, lift the chin, look straight ahead at the horizon line. Inhale, come to center. Exhale, change sides. Move your hips to the right. Keep equal weight on the inseams of both feet. Inhale, come to center. Exhale to the right. You're going to take a short inhale. You're going to take a long exhale. End of exhale, banders. Hold the breath out. Perineum lifts, lower abdomen in and up. And then inhale back to center. And exhale left, same thing on the other side. Soft gaze at the horizon, top shoulder back. When you finish your long exhale, come back to center, inhale, and then exhale, arms to the side, stand in Tadasana. Inhale, arms widen overhead, flip your palms. And then exhale, turn to the right. Hold the breath out. Keep the feet where they are, pointing forward. Okay, come back to the center, inhale. Exhale, just twist the body to the left, to the right, sorry. Hold the breath out, arch back, look up past the hands. Inhale, come back to center. Exhale, turn to the left. Hold the breath out, push the feet down. Arch back, look up. Inhale to center. Ujjayi breathing, please. Exhale to the right. Arch back, look up. Ground the feet so you can feel it through your whole body. Inhale, center. And to the left. Exhale, the twist. Hold the breath out as you arch back. And draw your arms back. Inhale, center. Lift up, chin down. Exhale, Tadasana. Ardha Uttanasana, half forward fold. Inhale, arms over the head, flip your palms. If you have a back issue, it's better to do this with the prayer over the heart. And exhale, hips back, chin down, fold halfway. Inhale, come up, arch back a little bit at the top. Chin down even. Exhale, fold halfway. Hips back, hips back, hips back. Make a number 7. Inhale, come up, arch back. And exhale, fold all the way. Purna Uttanasana, full Uttanasana. Flip the palms, inhale all the way up, arch back. Keep chin down. Exhale, fold. Take your time, slow, controlled Ujjayi breathing. Take hold of the legs or the big toes or hands under the feet. Inhale, look up lightly. Exhale, round the back. Bring the head down, short inhale, long exhale. Try to find the ends of your breath. Optional little pause at the end of the breath. Relax your neck completely. Gaze gently at the tip of your nose. Ujjayi breathing, please. Just enjoy your breath. Keep your neck relaxed. On your 3 breaths, flip your palms and inhale, come up. Don't rush. Exhale, Tadasana. Surya Namaskar, sun salutation. Towards the front of your mat, inhale. Exhale, Anjali Mudra. Inhale, arms widen overhead, flip your palms. Exhale, fold forward, chin down, hips back. Short inhale. Exhale, Utkatasana, squat down, heels may rise, forehead towards knees, hands on the floor. Short inhale, have your fingers pointing forward even. Short inhale, back of the heart. Hold the breath, hop back or step back. And lower Chaturanga or knees down, half chaturanga. Fully exhale there. Then all the way to the floor. Full prostration, fully inhale. Hands in prayer. Hold the breath in. Hands back. Chaturanga or half chaturanga. Fully exhale. Inhale to upward facing dog. Hold the breath in. Chin down. Pull the spine long. Exhale, downward facing dog. Fully empty the lungs. Hold the breath out. Hop or step forward, Utkatasana. As you squat down, squeeze a little more air out of your lungs. Good. Push the hands into the floor. Inhale, straighten the legs. Exhale, fold into the legs. Empty the lungs. Pause. Flip the palms. Inhale all the way up. Chin down. Exhale, Anjali Mudra. Hands in prayer over the heart. Inhale, Tadasana. Exhale, Anjali Mudra. Inhale, arms widen overhead. Flip your palms. Exhale, fold all the way. Hold the breath out for a moment. Pause. Short inhale, back of the heart. Long exhale, Utkatasana, squat down. Empty the lungs, lift the perineum, forehead towards the knees. Short inhale, back of the heart, hold. Chaturanga or half. Hold chaturanga, fully exhale. Lower to the floor, inhale, full prostration. Hold the breath in. Hands back, chaturanga. Fully exhale, hold the breath out. Inhale, upward facing dog. Chin down. Hold the breath in. Exhale, downward facing dog. Fully exhale. Kumbhaka. Hop or step forward, Utkatasana. Squeeze a little more air out of the lungs as you squat deeply. Inhale, straighten the legs. Exhale, fold deeply. Empty the lungs. Flip the palms, inhale up, arch back at the top of the chin down. Exhale, Anjali Mudra, look heart. Inhale, Tadasana. Turn to the side, stand in Tadasana. Warrior one. Inhale, arms shoulder level. Exhale, soften the knees. Hop or step the feet apart. Inhale, arms over the head, flip the palms. Exhale, right foot out, left foot in. Square the hips to the short side of your mat. Heel with heel or wider alignment. Make sure your hips are squared to the front. The back foot's turned in sharply at turning. Yeah. Inhale, arch back. Exhale, as you bend the knees, sweep the arms in a big circle. Bring them round to shoulder level with the palms up, shoulders down. As you inhale, bring the arms wide, interlock the fingers, straighten the front leg, arch back. Exhale, go down. Bend the knee well. Keep the back leg straight. Inhale up. Arch back a bit. Exhale, go down. Hold for 3 breaths. Keep the outside of the back foot grounded and the inseam of the front foot grounded. Tuck the tailbone down and lift up through the lower abdomen gently. As you inhale, draw your shoulders back over your hips. Steady gaze, Taraka, horizon line. With your shoulders down, your arms up. Breath into the top of the lungs. Flip the palms, inhale, come up, straighten the leg, arch back. Exhale, fold over the front leg, bring the hands to the shin or to the floor. Square the hips. Flip the palms, inhale, come up. If your back is, I know I've got a couple of people here with sore backs, just do it with the hands on the hips or the prayer over the heart. Arch back and exhale, go down again. And this time stay. Hands on the floor, relax the neck, gaze gently at the back heel. 3 breaths. Short inhale, long exhale. Don't worry about how far down you are. Just think more about the quality of your breath and the release of your exhale. There shouldn't be any tension in the back of your neck. The head hangs. Soft gaze, back heel. And then exhale, soften the front knee slightly. And inhale, raise the back leg parallel with the floor. Balance on the right leg, and then exhale, bring the prayer over the heart and lift the torso parallel with the floor. And stay there for 3 breaths, or optional, extend the arms over the head in prayer. Bring your torso up, Rachel, and your leg up, if you can. And then on the exhale, bring the hands to the floor and the back foot down where it was. Flip the palms. On the inhale, come up, arch back. Exhale, turn to the side, Trikonasana Sthiti. Hands to the waist, feet 30 degrees. Look heart, take a breath. Inhale, arms over the head, flip your palms. Exhale, left foot out, right foot in. Check your alignment. Make sure your hips are square to the front. Left foot out, right foot in. Back foot turns in well, hips square. Inhale, arch back. Exhale, bend the front knee. Sweep the arms in a big circle. Palms up, shoulders back, gaze straight ahead. Do 2 more. Ujjayi breathing. Come up one more time and then hold when you go down for 3 breaths. When you come up and arch back, try to square your hips at that point and keep them square as you bend the front knee. Good. Breathe. Keep your shoulders down so you can bring the air high in the lungs. I move the shoulders back over the hips. Keep the shoulders down. Just get the arms up. Lift the palms. Inhale, come up, arch back. Exhale, fold over the front leg. Parsvottanasana, an intense stretch. Release the hands and then flip the palms again. Inhale, come up, arch back. Square the hips. And exhale, fold all the way. Gently gaze back heel, 3 breaths. Neck relax. Try not to hyperextend the front leg. Keep the quadriceps slightly engaged or the knees slightly bent if you need to. And then soften the front knee on an exhale. Inhale, raise the back leg parallel with the floor. Push out through the ball of the foot and get the leg strong. And exhale, prayer over the heart, lift the torso parallel with the floor. And hold for 3 breaths. Smooth breathing. Lift everything a little bit higher than you think it should be. And you've got to extend from the ball of the foot to the crown of the head with Uddiyana Bandha. And then exhale, back foot down, hands to the floor. Flip the palms, inhale, come up, arch back. Exhale, turn to the side, Trikonasana Sthiti, hands to the waist. Look hard. Inhale. Exhale, soften the knees. Hop or step the feet together. Turn to face the front, lead and return sequence. Inhale, arms widen overhead, flip your palms. Exhale, palms face forward. Inhale, arching from the upper back, don't bend the knees. Exhale, fold all the way. Inhale, back of the heart. Exhale, Utkatasana, squat down. Inhale, back of the heart. Exhale, Chaturanga or half. This time it's straight to up dog. Inhale to upward facing dog. And exhale to downward facing dog, 3 breaths. Short inhale, long exhale, spread the fingers wide. Optional, end of exhale, bandhas. Well, your mat's really slippery. After your 3 breaths, hop forward, Utkatasana. Squat down. Sit down, Dandasana. Oh no, don't do that. I want to do something different. Go back to downward facing dog. Sorry. Take a long exhale and downward facing dog. At the end of that breath, a little hop onto your shins. Point the toes. Sit down on your heels, Vajrasana. Do a little Vajrasana Vinyasa. Sitting on your knees. When you sit in Vajrasana, the hands cup the knees. Your chest is up. And your chin is down, looking towards your heart. If you find there's too much on your knees, you can also do most of the sequence sitting in a cross-legged position. Are you okay, Tony? You really want something soft than that. Can be a cushion. Oh, you need more height, but they're quite hard on your heels. Try that. But if it's too much, then come up and just sit cross-legged. Is that any good? No, okay. Yeah, sit cross-legged. Yeah, sit on your block. That's it. Yeah, you'll be able to do most of it, not this little bit, but most of the rest of it. As you inhale, sit up on the knees, bring the arms up over the head. Sit up on the knees and interlock your fingers over your head. Tony, you just stay seated. And then as you exhale, buttocks to the heels, thumbs to the back of the neck, palms up, elbows back. So it's all one movement. Hold the breath out, pause. Then again, inhale, sit up on the knees. Push the hands to the ceiling, chin down, look hard. Draw the arms back. Sit up, Aoife. Straight up. And then exhale, bring the thumbs to the back of the neck, sit down, all one movement. Keep exhaling. Look heart, chin down. Inhale there. Stay. Exhale fully. Keep the hands where they are. Completely empty your lungs. Slight pause. Hold the breath out. Bandhas. If you can, the chin's on your sternum. And then as you inhale, release bandhas. Sit up on the knees. Push the hands to the ceiling. As you exhale, sit on the heels. Bring the hands forward and cup the knees. Vajrasana. Okay, we'll do a couple of variations here. Keep sitting this time with the buttocks on the heels. Inhale, arms widen overhead, and just bring your arms so the palms face forward. And then exhale, fold from the hips, bring the hands towards the floor, and the head down. And then flip the palms, and inhale, come up, and arch back. You can do this, Tony, if you want to. Yeah, arch back. And exhale, fold forward, bring the hands towards the floor. I'm going to take a breath there. Short inhale. Expand the back of the lungs. And a long exhale. Eyes closed. Look navel. Get to the end of the breath. Flip the palms. Inhale. Come all the way up. Arch back. Exhale, arms wide like wings. Go down. So the hands just hover off the floor. Good. Inhale, come up. Interlock the fingers, arch back. Exhale, same. Go down. And this time, just let the hands keep going down until they just touch the floor. Forehead to the floor. Look navel. Completely exhale. Hold the breath out. Inhale, come up. Bring the arms over the head. Flip the palms. And exhale, bring the hands down, thumbs below the navel, fingers towards the groin. Don't do this if you are menstruating or if you're pregnant. And then inhale, or you've got a hernia. Inhale, arch your back and look up. And two of those things you should have told me. Inhale, arch back and look up. And exhale, fold forward. So as you go down, the hands press deeply into the abdomen, the forehead comes towards the floor. And then inhale, come up, keep the hands where they are, and arch back. And then exhale, go down again. Good, stay there. As you inhale, lift the head and the chest, look at the horizon line, and then close your eyes and look third eye. So the chest is up a bit and the head's up, but the seat's on the heels and the abdomen's pressing firmly into the hands and the thighs. Now just take an inhale there. And a long exhale, eyes closed, look third eye. Empty the lungs completely. At the end of the breath, squeeze the anal sphincter strongly, look third eye. Release the sphincter, inhale. Exhale fully. Push the abdomen down into the hands and the thighs. Lift the head a bit, look third eye. End of the breath, anal sphincter. Connection between the anal sphincter and the third eye. And then inhale. And exhale, round the back, forehead to the floor. Slowly inhale, come up, arch back. Exhale, bring the hands behind you 10 inches, fingertips or palms down. You can do this with your legs straight if you want to. And then on the inhale, I would bend your knees, actually, you could do tabletop. Inhale, lift the hips up. Push the shins down, drop the head back. And exhale, bring the hips down. And then same thing, inhale, Push the shins down, lift the hips, squeeze the shoulder blades, head goes back last. Hold the breath in. Exhale slowly down. Inhale, bring both arms up over your head. And sit up on your knees. Try to do it with your arms over your head. And then exhale, bring the hands down, Ustrasana. You can put your hands in your back with the palms facing down or the palms facing up. And then on the inhale, you could stand up now and do this, Tony. Do a gentle arch back. And then on the inhale, arch back. Don't do that one, do this one. Just support your back with your hands. And exhale, come forward. Just supporting your lower back, first vinyasa. Inhale, arch back, lift the chest, fill the lungs, head goes back. Exhale, come to center. Now you can repeat that and hold, or you can hold the heels, or turn the toes under and hold the heels, or put the hands on the soles of the feet. In, choose your variation. Go back on an inhale, keep a slight Uddiyana and Mula Bandha. Breathe high into the chest, 3 breaths. Inhales are deep, exhales are short. Move the hips forward. After your 3 breaths, on an exhale, come up. Inhale there. Exhale, sit down on your heels. Round your back, forehead to the floor, hands beside the feet. Just do a gentle forward bend, yeah. Just to counterpose the back bend. Good. Sit up, hands to the floor, in front of the knees. Hop or step back, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Good. Take a full breath, short inhale. Spread your hands more, Tony, and bring your index finger base to the floor. And at the end of the long exhale, the next one, hop or step forward, Utkatasana. Sarah, your hands can be fractionally wider on your mat. They're a bit too close. And inhale, straighten your legs. And exhale, fold Uttanasana. Flip the palms, inhale all the way up. And exhale, Tadasana. Tadasana, Vinyasa. Inhale, arms widen over your head, flip your palms. Chin down, look at the floor just in front of you. Exhale, lift the heels. Heels touching if you can. Inhale, lower the heels. Slowly with breath. Exhale, lower the arms. Inhale, raise the arms. Exhale, lift the heels. Stay. Inhale. Exhale, lower the heels. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, lower the arms. Inhale, arms forward, shoulder level, chin down, look navel. Exhale, Ardha Utkatasana, squat halfway. Tummy in. Empty the lungs, perineum lifts. Inhale, stand up. Exhale down. Inhale up. Exhale, squat all the way down. Heels may rise or feet flat on the floor. Separate your knees. If you can, keep the arms forward, sit down. Dandasana, both legs straight, hands beside the hips. Inhale, raise the arms over the head, flip your palms. And exhale, don't move. Inhale, roll down onto your back. Round the back, resist through the arms and the core. And exhale, hands beside your hips. Take rest. Actually, take rest, feet together, arms beside the body, palms down. Switch off Ujjayi breathing. And just work through the mamas to mind you. Flicking the gaze internally with the eyes closed from point to point, mama point in the body. Mama, sthana, secret place. Look, big toes, ankles, knees, top of thighs, perineum, navel, heart, back throat, throat pit, soft palate, upper palate, nose tip, third eye, center of forehead, crown of head. So the eyes are rolled up, looking out through the crown of your skull. Breathing normally, look, big toes, ankles, knees, tops of thighs, perineum, navel, heart, back throat, throat pit, soft palate, upper palate, nose tip, third eye, center of forehead, crown of head. Look, navel. Keep the gaze in the navel, center of the body, behind the belly button. Then relax your eyes. Inhale, bring your arms over your head, flip your palms, feet together. Exhale, come up, fold forward, take the outsides of your feet. You can use your hands to lift a little bit if you want to, or you can just lift up. Knees can be bent. And then interlock the fingers, bring the hands up, and just come straight up with the arms over the head. Chin down, look hard, hold. Niralamba Dandasana, unsupported Dandasana. Then gazing into the heart, bring deep breaths into the chest. A little bit of action through the legs, pushing out for the balls of the feet, like you would in Paschimottanasana. And then very slowly on an exhale, Ujjayi breath strong, fold forward on 1, on 2, on 3, on 4, on 5. Bend the knees if you need to, take the big toes. Inhale, lift the chest up today and get the spine straight like you would in Mahamudra. So you're not folding forward and rounding the back, you're up, you're straighter, you're pulling on the arms a bit. The arms are straight, Mandy. And the shoulders are down, the chest is up. I'm going to do Kapalabhati here. Chin down, look navel, keep the chest up. Little shallow inhale, and then 12 Kapalabhati. Hex, 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 hex. Exhale completely. Keep that posture. Inhale. And then exhale completely. Go right to the end of the breath and hold the breath out. Chin down. Look perineum. Release, squeeze and release the anal sphincter 5 times. no air in the lungs. When you've finished, inhale, exhale, and then when you're ready, do another 12 Kapalabhati. I'm ready to snap the abdomen. You've done the 12, take an inhale, very long exhale into the lungs, Baya Kumbhaka, external retention. In the retention, squeeze and release the anal sphincter as many times as you can comfortably, but now rolling the gaze up and looking third eye. And then when you've done, come into normal breathing, gentle Ujjayi sound. Lift the palms, inhale, bring the arms up over your head. And exhale, go down and take any hand hold you want for Paschimottanasana, full bend. Bend the knees as much as you need to get hold of the feet. If you can't find the feet, don't struggle. Bend the knees, Peter. Round the back, look navel, short inhale, long exhale. Let the back round, let the chin go down. Really focus on the breathing. Find the ends of the exhale so you feel empty and your mind drops. And if you're comfortable with that pause, then start to retain the breath out at the end of each exhale for a few seconds. Then flip your palms and inhale, come up. Exhale, hands behind you 10 inches, tabletop or legs straight for Uttanasana. And then inhale, lift up. Head goes back last, squeeze the shoulder blades. And exhale, slowly down. And inhale up, inseams of the feet towards the floor, knees, hips, chest, squeeze shoulder blades, then head goes back. Exhale, slowly down. Come down onto your back. Bend your knees, hug your knees to your chest. If you can, wrap the arms round and hold your opposite wrist, your opposite elbow, or wherever you can reach. Uncross feet there. And then keeping the head on the floor, inhale, Ujjayi. Exhale, squeeze knee down. Eyes closed, look navel. As you inhale, just release the grip a little bit on the knees, release the pressure. And then exhale, squeeze the knees down. Look navel, breathe nose. Inhale, release the grip. Exhale, squeeze the knees down. At the end of the breath, hold the breath out. Look navel, lift forehead to knees. And then inhale, head to the floor. Exhale, both legs straight up, both arms straight up, letter U. Good. Extend the balls of the feet and the fingertips towards the ceiling, draw the lower back down. Make sure your pelvis feels square. Breathe. And then as you exhale, bring the arms over your head and the feet to the floor, close to the buttocks with the feet together. And then inhale there. And bring the hands up over your face with the fingers interlocked. Exhale. As you inhale, like this, Aoife, like this. Well, and inhale, exhale. And as you inhale, bring the arms over your head to the floor and lift your hips up. And exhale, lower the hips down and bring the hands up over the face. And lift the hands up. And inhale, same thing. Arms over the head, hips high. Stretch through the arms, squeeze the buttocks and lift the hips. And then come down, exhale, last time. Inhale, come up. Hold. Fully exhale. Keep going till there's nothing left. Hold the breath out, Mula Nudiyana Bandha. Stretch. Pelvic floor lifts, lower abdomen in and up. Inhale. Hips a bit higher. Exhale, lower the hips to the floor and the hands beside the hips. Okay, that was nice. And then lift into shoulder stand, or you can take a rest. Or you can do headstand practice, you choose. Half headstand, half shoulder stand, full shoulder stand, legs up the wall, or headstand. You need a few more breaths. That little sequence we just did is a preparation sequence for shoulder stand. So if you can, you know, it's nice to just go straight into shoulder stand from there. You'll feel very ready. But if you need to rest, then feel free. Only you know that. If you've got tension in your face, bend your knees, reduce the angle in your torso, move your hands closer to your buttocks. If you're in shoulder stand and you're tense, it's like a stress position. Stress positions where they used to torture people. Keep your eyes closed and look down into the back of your throat. That's called Kantakupa. It's a marma point, a little chakra in the back of the throat. If you put your gaze there, release the tension in your throat, and that will help to release the tension in your head, and it will keep the Ujjayi soft. You need to relax your eyes, your forehead, tongue, the root of the tongue, the jaw, the face should be relaxed. And only if you've got all that working would you lift into a straight, more vertical shoulder stand. And you can just stay there now and breathe, long exhales, or if you're comfortable, you can do some variations there of your choice. I'm just going to move your head because you're a little bit crooked. Now you're straight, okay? You can relax your feet more, but push up more through that bit of your foot. But try to relax your toes. Don't go all tense. Don't go so tense in your legs. Have the feeling of energy moving up, of being light, but not with all that stress in the legs. Try and relax more. Try and breathe more. If you feel tense, bend your knees. Come down. Don't stay there if you feel tense. A little bit of separation in the heels is quite nice. So it rotates the femurs in, and then the tailbone tucks forward to lengthen the abdomen. Eyes closed, look Kantakupa, back of the throat. Big toe bases touch gently if they can. And then exhale, lower the knees to forehead or the feet to floor and plow. Take a couple of breaths there, trying to keep the breath the same. Don't let the breath get short and tense. Keep the face relaxed. And then when you're ready, find your way down. Hands to the floor, take lots of little breaths, or you can thread the needle of the arms. Whatever works for you. Good. And then when you get there, roll the head a little bit, side to side. Good. And when you're ready, sit up. And we're going to do a different variation of fish pose, Matsyasana. Both legs straight, hands behind you 10 inches. Sitting up. Nice variation of fish where you can do the vinyasas, keep the release in the neck. So this variation, you've got the main thing about Matsyasana is to keep your shoulders down and keep your shoulder blades together. Your hands are behind you, the legs are together, there's a little bit of action in the legs. So when you want action in the legs, you want to push out gently through the balls of the feet, not overflex the feet. So you feel that there's action in the front and the back of the leg. Hands are down behind, squeeze the shoulder blades. And then inhale, puff the chest up, squeeze the shoulder blades strongly, bring the head gently back, and close the back of the neck comfortably with the breath high in the lungs. And then exhale, slowly bring the chin back down towards the chest, keeping the shoulder blades together. So you can do little vinyasas here to work on the neck. And then inhale, puff the chest more, bring the head back. Your shoulders down, Tony, there, coming up. And then exhale, come back, chin towards the chest. So it's the same movement as you would use to go into fish pose. You need to sit up a bit. Sit up. Get on that. Yeah, so you can keep your shoulders down. Same thing, do it again. And this time, hold. And try to feel, I want you to feel the way the breath works in fish pose. So with the shoulders down and the head back, you want to bring the breath right up into the upper apices of the lungs so you can feel it up under your collarbones. 3 breaths. And it's a back bend, so you can pause the inhale slightly before you exhale. The inhales are long and the exhales are short. If you keep the shoulders down, the head can go back into reverse Jalandhara Bandha. Shoulders come up, neck gets tense. And that's the feeling you're looking to try and get when you do it on the floor. So this is a nice preparation for fish pose. And then come up. Inhale, bring the arms over your head and flip your palms. And then exhale with the chin down, round your back, come down onto your back. And bring your arms beside your hips and rest. Shavasana. Chilly, so make sure I'll put the infrareds, a couple of infrareds on. You don't get cold. Roll your head a little bit side to side. Do you feel warm enough? Do you want the infrared on? Are you okay? Yeah. You all right, Rachel? You warm enough, Julie? Yeah. I don't want to cook you. Feet slightly wider than your hips, arms away from your sides. Bring your awareness down through your body and into your feet. Tony, bring your feet wider apart. Bring your awareness down through your body and into your feet. Relax your feet. Relax your legs, your hips, and your whole pelvic region. Relax your buttocks and your back. Intestines, stomach. Relax the muscles around your heart. So you can just feel that your heart drops a little bit in your chest. And then completely relax your lungs. Let go of breathing. Just let your body breathe. Let your palms go heavy. Relax arms and shoulders and feel the prana moving into your neck and your head. Throat, mouth, tongue, lips, jaw. Relax your cheeks and your eyes, temples, forehead, scalp. All your facial muscles. Whatever you're thinking, breathe it out. Completely relax. Rest your awareness in the center of your chest, just in front of your spine. Seat of prana in the body. You get very intimate with the breath, you'll find that it begins there and returns there. The seat of the soul. Om. Deepen your breath. Your feet together, arms by your side. Inhale, arms over your head. Stretch the left side, stretch the right side, stretch the whole body. Bend the knees, hug the knees. And then make your way into a seated posture. Use your blocks or cushions, sit up nice and tall. Bring your hands into a comfortable position for meditation. Lift your chest and relax your shoulders. Close your eyes. Let all the tension drop from the face. Release the jaw and the tongue. Upper palate, soft palate. Throat pit, back throat. Relax the heart space. Navel. Drop into the perineum and fully exhale. Sushumna Nadi. Meditation. As you begin the inhale, draw the breath up through the spine. Turn it into the center of your skull. Exhale down through the spine. Tuck it to the center of pelvic floor. Inhale up. soft, smooth, quiet, natural breathing. Center of the skull, Ajna chakra, a little pause. So breath turns, exhale down. Muladhara chakra, a little pause as the breath turns, inhale up. Work with that pattern with your own natural breath length, so there's no strain or effort in the breath. Breath is very quiet and very thin. You're hardly breathing. But you're feeling the prana, you're feeling the energy more. Creates a little bit of tone as it turns in the pelvic floor. A little bit of tone as it turns in the third eye, center of the skull. And gradually you begin to feel the movement of the prana in the center of your spinal channel. But in the beginning, if you just feel it at the top and the bottom, it's enough. The feeling in the spine will come with time. And then as the breath comes up, mentally repeat the mantra. So, and as the breath goes down, hum. Rising breath, so. Falling breath, hum. The mantra is more a feeling of energy moving, less a feeling of breath moving. So hum is the mantra Om in the sound of your breath. Om is the vibration of your mind, of your body, and the whole created universe is the consciousness of the universe. Next time the breath comes up, just rest it in the heart space. Center of the chest in front of your spine. Resting the prana there, and the breath there, and the mantra switches to Om on the inhale and the exhale, or your own personal mantra, which is the same thing. Everything is held in the heart. And you feel the form of consciousness in your own heart. And let go of the mantra. Begin to deepen your breath. Bring your hands into Anjali Mudra. Inhale deeply for Om. Om Trayambakam Yajamahe Sugandham Pushtivaranam Ovarukamiva Bandhanat Vricho Mukshiyamamritat Om Shanti 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 Om peace, peace, peace. Om Bolu Sakarus Bhagavan Ki Jai. Remind yourself the intention you made for your practice. Namaste. Thank you very much, everyone. So another translation of the word yoga, intimacy, to join or return. To return, to continually return. To what? To the soul. So Abbot John was saying, he just wants to have that feeling of continually hanging on to the cloak of Jesus, his form of the divine, his Ishtadevata, his consciousness form. And yoga's like that, because the reason we have a practice is to help us to continually return. So it's like we're hanging on to that. We're hanging on to the cloak of Jesus. And what happens is it goes away. And then we pull it back. And then it goes away. And we pull it back. And the pulling back, the returning, is sadhana. That's the practice of yoga. And if you don't do the practice, if you leave the practice, if you neglect the practice, what happens is it goes away. And it's harder and harder. It takes more effort, more time to get it back. So this is why continuous, regular sadhana, spiritual practice over a long period of time is what brings you closer to God, which is the definition of yoga. Just in whatever form it manifests for you. So that is a returning principle of the word yoga. To just keep bringing it back to the soul again and again and again. And of course, that's what we do in meditation. When you're in meditation and you're doing a practice in meditation, like we just did Sushumna Nadi meditation, and you're trying to keep your mind focused on that thing, but the mind goes away, doesn't it? It doesn't always do what you want. It doesn't always stay where you want it. And you draw the mind back. You keep returning the mind, returning the mind. Mind goes away, you return the mind. That's meditation. Meditation isn't complete stillness. That's samadhi. But the process of training the mind so that the mind becomes free of external distractions and can be steady in one place for a period of time, that's yoga, because it's a continual returning of the mind to the soul, which is the holy object that you choose. So that's what Abbot John was talking about when he was saying he's like a child in the marketplace, and he's always trying to hold on to his mother's cloak, his mother's dress, so he doesn't get lost. That same idea as yoga. Namaste. Thank you so much. We have satsang we have ashram day actually at the weekend on Sunday. It's nearly full now, but there are a couple of spaces if anybody wants to come. It's an all-day thing from 11 till 6:30, an immersion day. And then on the evening, we have the satsang, which is going to be a homa, which is going to be a fire ceremony with 108 chantings of Mahamrityunjaya mantra. And that is from 5 till 6:30. We'll do that on the deck in the orchard everybody's welcome to that. Just let me know if you want to come. You can just join the people who are on the ashram day. And after everything got totaled up, we raised £1,100 for UNICEF, for the Children of Gaza appeal, which I think is pretty amazing, considering we did it just with 3 classes in 1 week and a few donations. So it's really amazing. Thank you so much for everybody who helped. That was amazing. Yeah. And so, yeah, that's it for now. Namaste. Enjoy your practice. Thank you so much.